Hey, Dan Buffa in the Buff episode 11. We are going to get into it really quickly here with a good old fashioned chat about Dolph Lundgren. Now, there are certain Hollywood badasses, action heroes from our youth, from our current, film landscape that we just go, okay, what about in real life? Like, if you took Arnold doesn't really know a martial art. He's old, and maybe you can say the same about Sly, even though I think he just still knocks somebody the heck out. But you have to think only a portion of them that you think could really do what they do in real life. If they're just pure action stars. Well, Dolph Lundgren is not. And if anybody knows about this, how thunderous of a punch he can have, it's Mr. Stallone himself. Because as told by Sly himself at an Expendables press junket, I think many years ago, whenever the last one came out with Mel Gibson, which I think was a more fun also movie than the second one, even though I think that the last two kind of fell off and they shouldn't do anymore. But he used that space to tell a story about his buddy Dolph because they've been friends ever since they did that movie, and especially since they started doing the Expendables films together. But one time when Rocky Balboa, played by Stallone, was fighting Ivan Drago, and they were filming it, and Stallone in these movies he was very particular. The first Rocky film kind of had that very geriatric kind of old school but very familiar back and forth boxing technique. And then Stallone was like, that's bullshit. So then he basically said he stepped in as the fight choreographer. He would just arrange all the fights, especially with Carl Weathers, who, of course, went on to star with Arnold. He played a little bit with both big action stars from the 80s, but he worked a lot with that. So he, one day, I guess, when they were, rehearsing or practicing or training because Stallone was in freakish shape. Dolph was in freakish shape. And this is when Dolph was kind of new to film. This is one of his first big movie. He said when he was interviewed recently that when he comes up out of that basement into the ring and to face Apollo Creed, the shock and awe on his face is kind of real. It's just like, wow, I'm in a big Sylvester Stallone movie. But before audiences got to see that, when they were just training somewhere along the way. Now, if you're just Sylvester or you're any logical thinking human fucking being, you think, okay, this is a movie. Nobody's going to get punched, at least not on purpose. But when you're Sly and you think you are the hottest shit since sliced bread, and it's like, what was it, 84? Maybe they filmed this in 83. I was one. I was just like, couldn't even walk. I was basically drunk all the time. You had to think he was just the hottest shit. Like, you know what? Hey, hey, Dolph, you want to go at it? You want to go at it. And they did. It wasn't long. You could say that it probably wasn't long at all because Dolph Lundgren hit Stallone so hard that Stallone's heart literally bounced off his rib cage, and he was in the ICU for 8 days. Just don't. When you're thinking about it, let's say even Arnold got in that ring, he would have gotten his ass kicked too. It wouldn't even be an Expendables movie. Dolph would just beat everybody up. I mean, Randy Couture, maybe that'd be a good fight because Dolph is a martial artist, but Randy was an MMA fighter. He's a scrapper. He can punch. That would have been a good fight, but everybody else, even Statham, would have gotten his ass whooped. Just because. Then we'll get to number two. The second reason why you shouldn't mess with Dolph Lundgren. That's the first one. He kicked Sly's ass. If it was real, I mean, and that's when you watch Rocky 4, which is such a guilty pleasure because one or two, maybe three of those shots from Ivan Drago to Rocky's jaw, face, cheek, nose, chin, upper chest would have killed him. It'd kill me too. You just can't take those kind of punches. And did Mick ever teach him to put his hands up and just block his face? But fought him in real life. I don't know, on set, maybe in some gym, he's like, hey, just had some pasta. Let's fight, Bad idea, Sly. He got beat up. Don't mess with Dolph. Number two, the second reason you don't, as we discuss some rich, fun, juicy behind the scenes film history, you're watching In the Buff. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. I'm not paying. I'm not going to have you charged to see me sit in a room with a hanger in the background. Huh? 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 I'm just kidding. But yeah, I am delightfully, comfortably in my room, having a good go at it because of this. As we ramble off topic, this is a great microphone. You can't really do a podcast. You can have the switchboard and be all elite and have that, but I have a camera that pops up out of my new computer that my wife got me because she just loves me for some reason. And then she got me this microphone, and I didn't open the box for about a year or more, maybe two. Let's not count, especially when it's against me. She's already winning on the scorecards of right and wrong, 155 to that one wasn't real. I made that one up. 13. So you have to have one of these. And when I got one of these, and then when my buddy John, who has a great podcast, Lost Losers podcast, told me, hey man, hey, dumb shit. You have a voice, you have a following, go talk. I'm like, all right, In the Buff. So when we talk about random things here, if you're just joining in, you'll see a Better Call Saul finale wrap up. You'll see a discussion about the St. Louis Cardinals who play in my hometown, and I write about them way too much for not even being credentialed. I'm just like a rambling maniac blogger, but not as good as some of the other bloggers. And you'll hear some stuff about TV shows, movies over at Dose of Buffa, but everything's kind of, written at least. But anything's game here. That's In the Buff. It's me in a room with a hanger in the background. That's a prop. It's going to come into play when I discuss the second reason. Not really, but let's just say that I was in Dolph Lundgren's house. He's out there making, Cover Up 2. Well, what other movies you find in a Walmart $5 bin? Shot in the gut. One day, one man will find a way. He's super fucking tall. He's Dolph Lundgren. So if I came into his house to steal a damn hanger just because I want to see what holds, those big fucking tall blonde shoulders up, that Swedish fucking prince. If I took something like that, or maybe if I just took a White Claw because maybe the guy drinks White Claw. But let's put it this way. There is real proof, and it's been told, even confirmed, Dolph, and it's been told that a thief or a criminal wannabe broke into his house, and only when this happened did he decide to go, you know what? I want to live. I also don't like prison. Things, tight spaces, shitty food, creepy guys looking at you, guards don't like you. Stay out of there. That runs through your head. And then you think, well, maybe I don't want to get, hit so hard that my heart bounces off my rib cage like a fucking pinball machine. He saw a picture of Dolph Lundgren and his family. He's like, hey, I'm Ivan Drago. I'll fucking kill you. The thief ran out of the house. He never came back. Nobody ever broke into the house with Dolph again. What is he, 70 now? He can still probably kick me through the wall and go, hey, my hair didn't get messed up. He has hair, by the way. I mean, Universal Soldier, seeing when he teamed up, and I guess initially in the story they fought each other. Probably one of the best fights because you have two guys who are martial artists in Jean-Claude Van Damme, and also the MIT graduate, crazy high IQ Dolph Lundgren. He can outthink you and kick you and beat the shit out of you all at once. He'd take whatever you made you, a man or a woman. Hopefully, he wouldn't be beating up a woman, but you never know. In one of those movies, maybe he has to fight a woman. If Ronda Rousey kicks him in the chest, I think he's going to go, hey, I'm Dolph. Kick me again. No, he's going to kick her back. That would be a good fight, by the way. I don't know who would win that one because Ronda's just, man, she's fiery. Man. You take the rules away from an MMA. You say, hey, that crap you got to obey in the octagon? Fuck it. They just started beating the living shit out of each other, using all their judo, fucking jiu-jitsu. Man, I'm going to hurt my back. I wouldn't pick a fight. I'm a relatively big guy, whatever. I pick stuff up, I put it down. I would never fight Dolph Lundgren unless I had a sledgehammer and a charger to hit him with. So that's it. 10 minutes. I don't want to be here long. I don't want to be one of those guys who slouches even more as the podcast. Here we are from the ether of because I have to talk for 45 fucking minutes. Get a life. Get off the microphone. Nobody wants in 2022, nobody wants to be listening to a podcast or a video cast on your YouTube channel, on the channel, the U, from the Hulu to the Prime and then the Netflix, the YouTube. Yeah, that young people, 2022 people do not want to listen or read anything that's too long. Get to the fucking point. Don't mention the great painting that your wife picked out. Don't mention the fact that, an adult's having an adult beverage in the afternoon because he's done with his work. Don't get freaked out that maybe I've had a little afternoon smoke. Oh my gosh, he had marijuana on his day off while he was doing absolutely fucking nothing in the house. Go arrest him now. Minority Report. Hey, Tom Cruise. Hey, little guy. Go arrest Dan for smoking. No, get medicated. Guess what? The eternal words from the doctor that I had the Zoom session with to get my medical marijuana card. He says, you own a lot of drugs, you overdose. It's bad news, obviously. It's bad news. You overdose on marijuana, you go to sleep. And you don't even need Samuel L. Jackson to tell you. Have a good day. See you next time. I don't know when. These things aren't planned. I don't have a producer. I'm not professional. There's 5 animals out there that are policing the house as I do this. So come back when you want in the buff. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Tell an enemy. Tell them, hey, you don't have to like me, but listen to this Dan guy. See ya.